It's the late 90s in an alternate universe in which the Axis powers won World War II. Japan, now called the Republic of Greater East Asia, is ruled by a militaristic totalitarian government. In order to control the population, the government has developed the Battle Experiment No. 68 program, in which 50 third-year junior high classes are selected to participate each year. The students are kidnapped, brought to a remote location, outfitted with weapons, and forced to kill each other until one victor remains. I just realized that my outfit today is kind of giving like farmer's daughter chic, which wasn't really the intention, but we're gonna go with it. The concept I just described might be sounding familiar to you. This is the premise of Japanese author Koshin Takami's 1999 novel Battle Royale. Of course, he wasn't the first to write about death games or kids killing each other. Books like Stephen King's The Long Walk and William Golding's Lord of the Flies had already explored these concepts decades earlier. But he was the first to sort of bring these ideas together and combine them with the Battle Royal style match from pro wrestling, where multiple wrestlers compete in the ring at once to be the last one standing, in order to create an equally horrifying and enthralling piece of fiction. The book was then adapted into a movie in 2000, directed by Kinji Fukasaku, and a manga series that ran from 2000 to 2005, written by Takami and illustrated by Masayuki Taguchi, with the movie probably being the best known of the three, at least outside of Japan. The franchise became extremely popular in its home country, with the book selling over 1 million copies and the film becoming the highest-grossing Japanese film for 6 weeks. The book was translated into a dozen languages, and the film was eventually released in 22 countries. It never really became mainstream outside of Japan, but it has garnered a large cult following internationally. Again, whether you've heard of any of the iterations of Battle Royale or not, you might think that the premise sounds similar to your favorite book or video game. That's because Battle Royale has been incredibly influential in various areas of popular culture in the years since its release. However, I feel like it doesn't always get the credit or recognition that it deserves, and I want to change that. So let's take a look at the various pieces of media that Battle Royale has inspired. After listening to that lengthy intro, I'm sure there's one particular piece of media that popped into your mind for being suspiciously similar to Battle Royale, so I'm just going to get it out of the way and talk about it first. I'm of course referring to the Hunger Games. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this series, but in case there's any 12-year-olds watching my videos for some reason, I'll go over it briefly. The Hunger Games was a trilogy of books by American author Suzanne Collins, the first of which was published in 2008, almost 10 years after Battle Royale. Like BR, it too was adapted into films and became a massive hit. It's about a dystopian North America that has been divided into 12 districts that are ruled by the capital. Every year, the districts must send 2 teenagers to the capital to participate in the Hunger Games, a televised game in which the participants must fight till the death until one remains. I'm sure you can already see the obvious similarities to Battle Royale here. I remember when I bought my first copy of Battle Royale after the Hunger Games had come out, there was a sticker on it that said something like the original survival game. Aside from the totalitarian government and teenage death game, there are some more subtle similarities, such as the governments in both novels manipulating aspects of the game as it's ongoing, and the main characters of each book being 2 boys and a girl. Despite being accused of ripping off Battle Royale, Suzanne Collins maintains that she had never heard of it until after her books were already published, which isn't impossible to believe. I guess it's up to you whether you take her word for it or not. To be fair, the other 2 books in the Hunger Games series, Catching Fire and Mockingjay, do have far less in common with Battle Royale. The Hunger Games in turn was hugely influential, spawning a wave of YA dystopian books that dominated the 2010s, overtaking the supernatural romance trend started by Twilight. Some of the more well-known ones include the Maze Runner series, the Divergent series, and the Match series. As time went on, these books became less and less similar to Battle Royale or the Hunger Games, and we ended up with books with premises like, what if love was considered a disease and everyone under 18 undergoes a procedure to remove the ability to love? Or what if a teen girl kills everyone she touches and the government wants to use her powers for evil? The only tropes that were really maintained across the genres consistently were evil totalitarian government and teens having to bear the brunt of the evil for some reason. I guess none of these governments saw adults as a threat. In Japan, Battle Royale inspired the creation of several manga series with similar premises, such as Bokurano, Future Diary, Dead Man Wonderland, Danganronpa, and Magical Girl Raising Project, all of which I believe have been adapted into popular anime series as well. Battle Royale has also directly inspired several well-known movies and TV shows. Quentin Tarantino has named the Battle Royale film adaptation as one of his favorite movies and called it one of the most influential films in recent years. Battle Royale's impact is most strongly felt in Tarantino's film Kill Bill. He even cast Chiaki Kuriyama, who played Takako Chigusa in BR, as Gogo Yubari in Kill Bill, a role similar to the one she played in BR. Apparently he also wanted to cast another Battle Royale actress, Ko Shibasaki, who played Mitsuko Soma, as Gogo's sister, but this didn't end up making it into the film. Similar to the YA dystopian trend in books, Battle Royale led to a trend in horror filmmaking of movies about death games. Maggie Lee of Routers credits Battle Royale as being the film that pioneered the concept of the teen death game. Films that have been compared to Battle Royale include The Condemned, The Tournament, The Belko Experiment, Kill Theory, The Cube, and some entries in the Saw series. The star of Battle Royale, Tatsuya Fujiwara, even starred in a Japanese film called The Insight Mill with a very similar premise to Battle Royale. I remember when Squid Game came out and exploded in popularity a few years ago and thinking, this sounds a lot like Battle Royale. And sure enough, series creator Hwang Dong-hyuk cited Battle Royale as one of the inspirations behind the show. So I've saved the biggest section for last here. Oddly enough, the industry Battle Royale has had the biggest impact on is the gaming industry, despite BR having no video game adaptations of its own. There's a whole genre of games that takes its name directly from the movie. I imagine most of you know what the term Battle Royale means in the context of video games, but just so we're all on the same page, a Battle Royale game or game mode has players competing to be the last one standing on a shrinking battlefield. As we know, this was precisely the premise of the game the kids were forced to play in Takami's novel. Players usually start off with minimal equipment and have to explore the map in order to upgrade their weapons, sometimes looting equipment from fallen players, something that was also present in Battle Royale. As the game goes on, the map's safe zone will get progressively smaller, forcing players to confront each other, a mechanic also directly taken from Battle Royale. In BR, the kids were outfitted with explosive collars, and every day multiple areas of the map would become danger zones, meaning any student who entered one would be parted with their head. Now that we've established how Battle Royale games borrow elements from their namesake, let's take a look at the origins of the genre. It began in the early 2010s with mods for games like Minecraft and Arma 2. The Arma 2 mod, called DayZ, was created by Brendan Green, aka PlayerUnknown, and ended up becoming a standalone game. He has gone on record to say that this mod was directly inspired by the Battle Royale movie. He then went on to work as a consultant on the game H1Z1, King of the Kill, which contained Battle Royale elements. He released his own game, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG, in 2017, wanting it to represent his ultimate vision of the Battle Royale genre. PUBG was very well received, winning numerous awards, breaking records, and becoming one of the best-selling games of all time. Developers took note of this and immediately rushed to create their own Battle Royales, hoping to replicate PUBG's success. Fortnite was the next big Battle Royale game to drop, although it wasn't initially intended to be a Battle Royale. It was first conceived as a sandbox survival game, and the Battle Royale mode was only added after PUBG was released. This raised some eyebrows at PUBG's developers Bluehole, and they tried to sue Fortnite's developers Epic Games for copyright infringement, which I find absolutely hilarious because, y'all didn't come up with that. I don't see Mr. Koshin Takami suing all these other bitches who have been ripping him off for the past 20 years. But anyways, presumably they realized what little leg they had to stand on because they ended up dropping the suit just a few months later. Fortnite ended up becoming even more popular than PUBG due to its free-to-play model and popularity with iPad babies. Other big publishers like EA and Activision soon caught on and integrated Battle Royale modes into their popular series, Battlefield and Call of Duty respectively, as did games like GTA Online, Paladins, Dota 2, and CSGO. EA then released a standalone Battle Royale game, Apex Legends, in 2019. Activision followed suit with their Battle Royale, Call of Duty Warzone, in 2020. Fun fact, my partner works on that game. Both games surpassed 50 million players in just 1 month. It seems like every game under the sun has some sort of Battle Royale mode these days. Even Tetris and Scrabble have Battle Royale versions. The day they announce a Pokemon Battle Royale will be the last day you hear from me. Pokemon Unite was bad enough. As you can see, the Battle Royale genre has massively shaped the direction of the gaming industry over the past decade. Whether for better or worse is up to personal preference. They've raked in billions of dollars worth of revenue, allowing the gaming industry to expand and create more jobs. I, in part, owe my livelihood to the existence of Call of Duty Warzone since my partner and I live together, so personally I can't shit on Battle Royale games too hard. But why are these games so popular, far surpassing the popularity of their source material? It could be because they're relatively easy to pick up and play, since all players start in the same vulnerable state, thereby eliminating any intrinsic advantage for players. They've also been praised for their replayability and being well suited to being a spectator esport. A professor from the University of Utah even says that Battle Royale games help fulfill Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The physiological and safety tiers are met by the survival elements of the game, the love, belonging, and esteem tiers are met by the social and competitive aspects of the game, and the self-actualization tier can be met by becoming skilled enough at the game to win frequently. I just had to include that because I thought it was funny. Not everyone would agree that Battle Royale's impact on pop culture has been a good thing. Pretty much every piece of media I've mentioned today has drawn criticism or controversy in some way. Obviously, extreme violence is evident in all of them, particularly violence amongst children. The original Battle Royale novel was initially entered into a writing contest for horror writers, and even though all of the judges agreed that it was the best work submitted, it was disqualified for being too violent. The film was condemned by the Japanese government and given the second strictest rating possible. It took over a decade for it to be officially released in North America due to fears of criticism over similarities to the frequent school shootings that happen in the US. Most of the books and films inspired by it have been subject to similar criticisms. Battle Royale games have also been condemned for being too violent, especially since some of them, like Fortnite, have a younger player base. Apparently, a 2022 study conducted on Japanese students who regularly play online games showed that Battle Royale gameplay had statistically significant correlations with gaming addiction and a sense of underachievement. Personally, I've never really been a subscriber to the whole video games are corrupting our youth belief. That's been around since the advent of video games, but again, come to your own conclusions. You may think that since I love the original Battle Royale so much that I would be a big fan of Battle Royale games, but you would be wrong. I have never played one. I pretty much only play single-player games because I am bad at games and I don't want to be cyberbullied. I'm not alone here. The genre can be pretty divisive among gamers. Some don't like that the games rely less on skill than other types of games, or the fact that they're mostly played by Zoomers on Adderall that are impossible to win against. Or, to quote my partner, they're too sweaty. Valid, to be honest. Anyways, whether you're a fan of the Battle Royale concept or not, you can't deny the massive impact that it's had and the way it's shaped our culture since the book was released in 1999. If you're a book or film person and you haven't checked them out already, I would highly recommend the original book and movie. They're some of my all-time favorites, which is why I wanted to make this video. If Battle Royale has 1 million fans, then I'm one of them. If Battle Royale has 1 fan, then I am that one. If Battle Royale has no fans, then that means I am no longer on it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, liking and subscribing would be very much appreciated. I'll catch y'all in the next one.